So you want to run a game. You have an idea or a mechanic you want to explore, a cancellation in your regular game, or maybe you've finally convinced that one friend to finally sit down at the table and give the game a try. But there's just one obstacle. You have one night to do it, which means you need a one-shot. Hey everyone, my name's Steven, and this is Above the Table, where we like to talk about how to better run our games. In today's video, we're diving into creating and running one-shots, and why this just isn't as difficult as it's made out to be. And if I can show you just how easy putting together a one-shot can be, do me a favor, smack that subscribe button and give the video a like, as it helps the channel out a ton and it is absolutely free. Without further ado, let's get into it. One of the first things you encounter when preparing to run a one-shot is that people talk about just how hard they are to run or prepare. And I believe personally this is misleading. It's not that they're difficult to pull off, but it's often that we're thinking about these things in the wrong ways. A lot of keys to running a good, successful one-shot run contrary to so much game master advice around running good long-term campaigns. In a long game, you want to delve into the details, explore every emotion, learn about the 34th unprepped NPC, and leave vast amounts for player creativity and problem solving. In a one-shot, you are attacking a specific goal or problem and attempting to guide the players along on a more structured path. Now that doesn't mean railroading them, but it does mean focusing on momentum over exploration, clarity over complexity, and immediacy over slow burn storytelling. You don't have the luxury of sprawling world building or deep character arcs. You gotta get to the fun fast and keep the game moving. But that doesn't mean one-shots have to be shallow or lack depth. A well-crafted one-shot can still feel rich and immersive by weaving the details into the environment, keeping the stakes clear, and delivering impactful moments efficiently. Before anything else, we need to decide what this one-shot is built around. Are you telling a specific story, showcasing a moment in your world, or exploring a new mechanic? Or maybe you just grabbed a pre-written one-shot and you need to figure out how you're going to run this smoothly. This decision shapes your setting, your pacing, your encounters, and what the players will actually be doing. A clear goal makes for a tight, fun session. And remember, use the days leading up to your game to share key details through things like Discord, group chats, or email. Things like scene-setting elements, relevant lore, or background information. Get this kind of stuff out of the way beforehand, because once the session starts, the focus should be on playing, not a 20-minute lore dump. Players don't need a history lecture, they just need enough context to feel immersed and ready to dive in. Now that you know what your adventure is going to be about, we need to build some structure so we have a blueprint to help us hit the story beats and challenges that we want to bring to our players. The tried and true method that I have had the most luck with is as follows. You want a strong start, 2 to 3 major encounters, 3 to 4 minor challenges, 2 to 3 optional encounters, and 1 big boss or final challenge. Finally, an actual ending. For a strong start, use things like a mission letter or an opening scene that establishes the stakes. If they're hired for a job, give them details in a short letter or conversation before you can fast forward and send them straight into the action. If the city is under attack, make sure that their intro conversations are interrupted by one of the first strikes. And when traveling on a road, who doesn't love a good ambush? A strong start brings all of your players into the game, and it shatters the glass between reality and fantasy, and it's the number one thing that you have control over before the game starts. It's the only thing that you can for sure say, this is how this is going to be presented, this is how it's going to go, and these are the things that affect it. Now for your major encounters. These are key moments where the plot develops, and the players face their greatest challenges. They should be tense, impactful, and push the story forward. These are the key obstacles that stand in between the players and their goal. Things like a difficult combat, a challenging puzzle, or a thorough investigation of a location and the people therein. This is where we want to pepper in the meat of the adventure. This is where you will leave key important things like important enemies, maps, keys, loot, information, or NPCs to save. If there's anything that you have in your head that is required for the players to move forward, these encounters is where we want to place those. But don't forget to adapt information placement. If the players don't search where the clue is originally intended to be, place it where they look. And remember, a single combat encounter or intricate location can easily take up 45 minutes or more. So limiting major encounters to 2, or at least no more than 3, helps prevent things from dragging on and helps in meeting our time constraints. Roleplay can also stretch story time unpredictably, depending on your group, so it's important to have the tools in place to keep the momentum going. Whether it's a ticking clock, an NPC ushering the party forward or helping them, or even very obvious consequences for delays. Now thinking on minor challenges. These are the smaller hurdles or obstacles that the players need to overcome. These shouldn't slow down the game too much, but should provide engaging and fun moments for player creativity. Great examples of these things are like environmental hazards, illusionary dead ends, stealth-based navigation, small roleplay moments, easy puzzles and investigations, or even a time-sensitive trap. These are the kinds of things that players are for sure to get through with ease, but they aid in providing a fully fleshed out story for your adventure, and these moments allow players to exercise creativity, problem-solving skills, and provide moments of tension, surprise, and satisfaction as your players progress. Now for optional encounters. Optional encounters provide some flexibility for your one-shot. These might not be necessary for the story's progression, but bits and pieces you can add in to fill out the time. For these, I would utilize a blend of all the aforementioned encounters or challenges. In fact, I've found that it's likely when creating your major encounters and your minor challenges, you'll think of a few more than you'll actually need, so identifying which of these could be optional and placing them here can give you the extras that you need when your players undoubtedly breeze through something that you expected to take more time. I will say though, I would not explore any of your optional encounters until you've at least for sure dealt with most of your essentials, or that you see you very obviously will have time gaps to fill. Sometimes these might even fall at the end of the adventure. For example, as the final encounter ends in the temple and the relic is removed from the pedestal, maybe you suddenly realize you still have a good chunk of intended time. Now is a great moment to throw in an Indiana Jones style crumbling temple final dash out, full of improvised or prepared complications. Now with your boss encounter or final challenge, I feel like our goal here is pretty straightforward. We gotta take down the big bad challenge to complete the goal of the adventure. But don't forget, this is this adventure's big defining moment. Pour your creativity into this encounter. Adjust things to show players their impact throughout the adventure, like affecting the big bad's power or preparedness. Utilize mechanics that the players previously encountered, so now they maybe feel more prepared, or you can give them a unique twist. Lean into making things like layer actions or environmental effects, waves of minions, or even puzzles within your combat. This is what everything has led up to, so make it worth it. When adding mechanics or mass minions, an easy trick to not create too much bloat and slow things down is to remember to keep things simple, with basic things like using horde-style rules or basic saves, and let them be detailed through their flavorful descriptions. And finally, please, for the love of God, come up with some loose form of an ending or send-off for the characters that makes it feel complete. Way too many one-shots and with simple rewards like a magic item or a pile of gold, and while it may make sense for the general story, it often falls flat for the players they're not going to be able to use these things unless you've established a need for the reward beforehand. And if things truly go completely off the rails, or you have an ending that is just way too open-ended to have any idea of a plan for it, this is a great moment to turn the microphone back to your players and ask them, after this adventure, after gathering this information, or going through this series of events, where they find themselves. What will they do now, and what further hijinks may they get up to? Your best ally in any one-shot situation is the ability to omit, edit, or combine on the fly. And all of these things are only made easier by having a piece of your session that is built a little bit more modular and optional. When in doubt, keep things simple. One-shots are perfect for testing new ideas, but the best ones are focused and to the point. If you're running for a new group, err on the side of accessibility. For newer players, consider using pre-generated characters, or make characters with the player's input to help streamline the process. Lean into using things like fixed hit points, point buy, or standard array for stats. And as far as adventures go, dungeon crawls are a great default option because they're structured, they're fun, and easy to run. One of the most popular one-shots made here on YouTube that's often referred to as a great case study to look at is Matt Colville's Delium Tomb, and it's just that, a simple, to-the-point dungeon crawl. At the end of the day, a great one-shot is about keeping things focused, fun, and fast-paced. Players should leave the table feeling like they've had a complete adventure, whether it was a chaotic comedy, a thrilling heist, or a desperate survival story. Plan just enough to keep things moving, but leave room for their improvisation, because your players will always surprise you. And well, that just about wraps up today's video, but before I go, I gotta know, what do you think? Do you enjoy running one-shots? If you've found them difficult in the past, will you give this framework a try? Or do you have a system of your own that you like to use for this type of thing? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below, and bonus points if you can tell me about one of your favorite one-shots that you've either ran or played in. If you found this video helpful or interesting and think one-shots might be just a little bit easier to tackle now, give it a like and smack that subscribe button and bell notification, and join in and follow along for more as we continue to learn how to better run our games. If you guys do have any interest on talking a little bit more about one-shots, I have been thinking about redoing my very first video where I talked about how to use one-shots to create world-building moments within your world, or explore certain points of history. If you guys would be interested in a refresh of that video, let me know. And if you want a video on how to help change how you think about prep, encounter, and adventure design, check out our video on reframing your TTRPG prep. Thanks guys, and we'll see you on the next one.